listening to
We are yours, and we're doing it better than anybody else alive.
Anyway, before we get started, some housekeeping rules. Be nice in the chat. No disrespecting. You can disagree or agree to disagree. Keep it light. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 100 now. And despise not small beginnings, but I love wrestling and I talk about it on my job. Might as well pick up a mic and talk about it here. Hit that subscribe button. And if you think you subscribe, which you should be already, go make sure you're still subscribed, because you too have a habit of unsubscribing people. Make sure you hit the notification bell and hit always. That way when I drop a video, you'll know about it. Whoop, there it is. You can be able to watch it any place, anytime, anywhere, as long as you got a cell phone and some cell services. And always make sure you like it. Make sure you share it on all your social media programs. So I want to talk about AEW. A lot of people don't like AEW for some reason, and I don't understand why not. I'm an avid WWE fan, always been a WWE fan. I'm a fan of wrestling, period. As you can see down here below, I talk about every promotion that I can. Sometimes I don't have time, but I love TNA. I love MLW. I love AEW. I love Ring of Honor, which is part of AEW. I love the old school NWA, which they're taping now in my hometown of Sarasota, Florida, which whenever I go home, I will be going to those live tapings. TNA is now being filmed in Las Vegas. You have New Japan Wrestling, and you got New Japan Strong, which is being taped in California. Of course, I love the WWE. Each wrestling promotion has its own thing. We know WWE is a juggernaut. It took a long time to build WWE into what it is today. It took a lot of conniving, scheming, and crookedness too to build the WWE, because Vince McMahon was not all that fond of territories like his father was. So he schemed and found a way to overcome these territories and swallow them up and pretty much destroyed them. So everything wasn't fine and dandy with Vince McMahon, and we already know how he rolls anyway. But we can't expect all these other people, other brands to be like WWE or come up to the level of WWE. New Japan, NWA, that's bought by Billy Corben from the Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, it does good. It does good for YouTube and the local wrestling, hopefully, and I want them to grow. I want them to grow and be big. I mean, if it wasn't for Nick Aldis, I don't think they would have made it to this level. And they have some incredible wrestlers on NWA. Ring of Honor, I'm glad Ring of Honor got bought by somebody. And now we don't have to waste all that great talent on Ring of Honor. We can find some way to infiltrate them and mix with the AEW crowd, since Tony Khan owned both brands. I love MLW. I love TNA. They should have never got rid of Scott D'Amore. But TNA is doing incredible work thanks to Scott D'Amore, and they need to bring Scott D'Amore back. Or if I was a wrestler, I'd have everybody protest and walk off. But I guess they got a contract, and they'll probably be breached the contract. But this is why I like wrestling, because I get a chance to have more than one flavor. That's why you need every brand, and you don't want AEW fail. AEW came out of a challenge that any promotion cannot put on a big stage or pack out an arena or pack out a stadium. And AEW has proven that they can within the span of 5 years. They are a baby company. And yes, Tony Khan is making some baby mistakes. You're a baby, Tony Khan. You're a baby. And the baby need to get some elders around him for sound advice, some wise men, so to speak. Not Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman let it be known that he's going to be forever a Paul Levesque guy. Triple H and all that. To me, he does some good booking, but you know, Tony Khan used to do some good booking too. But the problem with Tony Khan is he's trying to do it all. Which one you want to be, dude? You want to be a booker, or you want to actually run a program? You're not Vince McMahon. Stop trying to be Vince McMahon. He's been doing this since he was pretty much a kid. His daddy taught him how to book and how to run shows. Your daddy can't teach you that, because your daddy never did it. He only can teach you how to buy football teams and soccer teams. And even then, he has people to help him run it. He don't run it all by himself. He's not trying to do it all. Now, The pettiness between AEW and WWE need to stop. I mean, I'm all for, look, you talk trash about my company, and talk trash about, that's what the whole Monday Night Wars was all about, getting at each other. And at the same time, I was eating it up because I was watching both of them. So I don't mind a little trash talk. I mean, if Will Ospreay feel like Triple H took a dig at him, go ahead and take a dig at Triple H. But make sure he's talking about you. Don't assume he's talking about you. And don't be so blatant about your response. But hey, it was funny. I liked it. I ain't had no problem with it. I'm like, hey, it is true. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. So Will Ospreay, just getting there, and he have a right to defend himself. So I don't understand this. And even when it comes to the CM Punk and this video that was put out by Tony Khan, which shouldn't have never been put out, Tony Khan should have leaked that to some other organization like TMZ and let them put that out, and then try to build a story around it. But you putting it out, that's foul. That sounds like you're bitter because Punk said some things about you on the MMA show, and you got a little salty about it. Stop acting like little biatches and stop getting salty over what somebody say about you. Now, I don't believe everything that Punk says is true. Punk, if he don't get his way, he's gone. If he can't control the situation, he don't want to be there. That's just how Punk is. He was in WWE, and he was in AEW, and he did a little bit in Ring of Honor before he got to WWE. He did a little bit of that in ECW. Punk like to have things his way. So I'm not a CM Punk D-Rider. He all right to me. I don't think he's the greatest in the freaking world. Good on the mic. That's about it. But I don't think he's the greatest in the world. I've seen people way more greater than Punk. I've seen Chris Benoit. You don't supposed to say Chris Benoit. I seen Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko. I seen a lot of wrestlers. To me, Kenny Omega is way better than him. Heck, Will Ospreay is better than him. It's a lot of wrestlers in WWE that's better than him. For his wrestle rise, now on the mic, not that many people can handle him on the mic, and he knows that's his strong point. And he's a hothead. He's the Tupac of WWE. So I don't believe everything he says. I got a feeling that, he felt that, and this is Tony Khan's fault. Tony Khan needed to step up and be a boss. You don't let no man talk about your product on stage after a wrestling match. If you have to put a gag order or fine them or whatever. And when you know somebody's not doing their job, you got to confront them or fine them or sit their butt down for a long period of time off screen. You got to have enough guts to do that, Tony. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Now, I don't know if he actually said that. I don't know if Punk's asked him to do that or not. Or I don't know. We all don't know. We just assume it's true. Oh, what do you want me to do? Do your job. Getting off that, because we had two incidents of Punks. When they say Joe has a problem with Jimmy, Sally has a problem with Jimmy, Edward has a problem with Jimmy. They're not the problem, it's Jimmy. And even though Punk has some truth in what he said, and I don't believe everything he says is true, everybody lies. Everybody can twist and fabricate the truth. We don't know. We saw the video, and that's that. My whole point is, Punk, why are you worrying about what that man do at that event? He wasn't doing it on your show. They created a whole show for you on Collision. That was for that match. And if Tony Khan said it was okay, who are you to get involved? Who are you to try to school this kid? Yeah, he's a kid. Yeah, he's probably ignorant of some things. But who are you to try to jerk him around because he won't listen to you? Who are you to tell him what to do? You're not his boss. Tony is. And if he want to do something stupid, let him do something stupid and let him learn his lessons just like any other father. You ain't do whatever your father tell you to do. I know I didn't. And then you make mistakes and you say, Dad, you're right. Let people make their mistake. Don't do that in WWE. He ain't going to go to WWE and do that because he ain't dealing with a bunch of young people that's on the independent scene. He dealing with some legends. Some people been in the game for a while. So he ain't going to be walking around telling them what to do and how they need to talk, blah, blah, blah. Now, for his, what's his name, going in business for himself, Hangman Page, if he wasn't supposed to say that stuff, he's wrong. He shouldn't have been that. He shouldn't have been doing that. And Tony Khan should have canceled the event and find some way to deal with it. When somebody start going rogue on your show, you have to have a fail-safe proof to twist it in your favor and punish that person to keep him from going rogue again or motivating other people from going rogue. And Hangman Page went rogue. And that upset Punk. And Punk shouldn't have brought that matter to the television at a brawl out. For the all out response tape. Getting tongue tied here. Punk should have kept that personal. Punk should have went in the office and talked to him about that. He didn't need to bring that stuff to the table. See, there's faults on both sides, and it's killing the brand. And now Punk has gone all into the sunset, and he's getting some national fame because AEW can't let this stuff go. Tony Khan can't let this stuff go. Now, I believe they let it go, but the Young Bucks are using the storyline to justify something with, with FTR, but that ain't why they doing that. They doing that because Punk talk about him like a dog on the MMA show, and they felt they need to defend themselves. Let Punk say what he gonna say, and if you got a response, don't let Punk say what he gonna say. Just understand this. At first, WWE didn't work. He took his ball and ran. He came over to my company, and things didn't work his way, and he wanted out. That's just how Punk is, and leave it at that. You don't have to go into details. But we need these brands. AEW brought any talent to the forefront that a lot of people didn't get a chance to see because they were in the indie circuits where you can get the big limelight out there. Tony Khan decided to put his billions into bringing these people to light. He's an avid wrestling fan. He loves wrestling, whether it's on the higher level or on the lower level. He loves wrestling in general. And he's a student of wrestling. But number one, he's never wrestled. Number one, he never really had a promotional company. And number three, he don't know the ins and out and the backing and the structure of a prosperous producing wrestling company. And that is his big mistake, and he need to get some people in his company to help him with that. You got people like Arn Anderson around you and stuff like that. You need to get some great minds that's been doing. Don't try to be the boss and make the decision on everything. You must delegate authority about bringing in talent. You need a talent acquisition person. You need your version of Jim Ross to bring talent into that. Cody was that for you. Mark Henry was that for you. You know, Cody is gone. He's not going to bring in the talent. You still got Mark Henry there on your side. You still got Arn Anderson. You got so many people that can bring in new talent and begin to nurture them and groom them and show them the ins and outs of the business. Another thing, stop trying to make Ring of Honor a competitive programming with your Collision and your Dynamite. Cut that freaking Rampage off. We don't need a Rampage because Rampage is tied into, folks, let me tell you, Rampage is tied into Dynamite. Whenever you go to a Dynamite show, the taping of Rampage is the last part of the show, and that happens at 11 o'clock, and you're tired and worn out. I know, because I went to a couple of AEW matches when they were here in New York over there at the Arthur Ashe Center. And yeah, went live 8, 9, 10. Here come 10 o'clock. I got to go to work, man. I worked the midnight shift. And luckily my training was getting me to work quick and my walk was fast. But I wanted to stay for Rampage, but I just couldn't. And people at New York don't want to go home too late. Don't nobody want to go be walking these New York streets 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's what you're going to get. And that's anywhere. A lot of these places don't have public transportation that run 24 hours. Everybody don't drive. So cut that freaking Rampage off on Friday, Tony. You don't need it. Keep it Dynamite and keep it Collision. That way you got a wrestling program going on Monday Night Raw, Tuesday night NXT, Wednesday night Rampage. We can rest on Thursday, come back Friday. We can watch SmackDown and have Collision on Saturdays. It's like a Saturday night main event. Get rid of that Rampage. Cut it off. Don't need it. It's a strain on the wrestlers too. And it's a strain on the people who come into the event. Cut that crap out of your program. And for as Ring of Honor need to be it need to be your version of NXT. It need to be done in a studio somewhere back in Florida. And I think that's what you're doing. It don't never need to be on the road, but you need to work that as a development center. Let that be your development center. That's where your wrestlers go train. They get titles, just like use the same formula as the WWE. Formulas are formulas. It'll work if you work it. So it's like people who come in sales, you got a script, you got a systematic way of making sales. It's been proven over and over again. You want to be Frank Sinatra and you want to do it your way. And you wonder why you ain't got no sales. You got to submit to the system. Systems save you time, money, and effort. I think that's what it stands for, the acronym. So get rid of Rampage, focus on Dynamite, focus on Collision, and build ROH as a performance center and have matches there and work new talent into the system of Rampage or Collision. And keep it separate, just like SmackDown and Raw. Keep it separate and stop having all these pay-per-views. You need 4 major pay-per-view and maybe 4 more sub pay-per-view, but stop having all these pay-per-view. You got All In, you got All Out, you got Grand Slam. Always have Grand Slam in New York. Always have your All Out in Chicago, All In Chicago. Have your Double or Nothing in Vegas. Keep those. Have your All Out in England. Keep those. But we need each other. AEW don't need to go away. It don't need to die. Because these wrestlers need to have somewhere, they need to have another option. Can you imagine you got one place that would take your work skills? That takes the value out of you, out of them. Out of you. You have no value if they're the only one that will hire you for your skill. Your value go up when other people would love to pay you more money for your skill. So you can sit there and say, look, I stay here because of what I'm becoming. I'm not staying here for what you're paying. I can go over there and get paid. It's like brothers, but people are, you don't need to have a wife or a girlfriend to have sex, man. They selling sex up the street. If you want to cut out the emotions and all that kind of stuff, go buy you some. It's legal in some states. I wouldn't tell you to do it. I say wait until you get you a nice, decent, good woman and, do your thing. But options is always good. And we need options like AEW. AEW has some of the best wrestlers in the country, in the world. Will Ospreay, let me tell you something. Cody Rhodes I'm talking about physical wise and wrestling wise. Cody Rhodes ain't on the level of Will Ospreay. But Cody know how to submit to a story. Cody know how to tell stories. And you need both of them. The storytelling and decent wrestling will always trump great wrestling with no lead in to the match. And I'm a Will Ospreay guy. Incredible wrestler. Kenny Omega, incredible wrestler. There's so many incredible wrestlers in the WWE. What they lack is storytelling. And hopefully they come up to that. And they need to keep your eyes off WWE and focus on your own brand. Don't try to be in competition. To be in competition with somebody, stop being competitive. Assume that you got the greatest brand and don't try to prove it. Just do you and let the numbers work. Again, Ring of Honor need to be your talent development center. You need to keep that a central location and build that up. Jacksonville. Rampage, got to go. Get rid of it. Don't need it. It's 1 hour that we don't need. Most people not watching it because some of them going to work. Some of them tired. After watching SmackDown for 2 hours and Raw for 3 hours, some of them tired. And even the way they got Raw going right now, Raw used to be too long, but they have about a few matches, but they still telling those stories. So folks, I will submit, don't crap on AEW, just like you don't crap on WWE. You might crap on a wrestler here too, but don't crap on the brand, because these are these people bread and butter. All of them need all these brands. We need New Japan. We need, because some people not going to be good enough for WWE, but they still need to be they need to go somewhere and still work on getting better and better and better. If it wasn't for Cody and all these people leaving the WWE and getting into the independent circle and reinventing themselves and things like that, they wouldn't get a second chance with the WWE. That's why we need Ring of Honor. We need the NWA. We need New Japan. We need MLW. We need TNA. We need, GCW. We need all these promotion brands, and we need all of them to come up. If anything, all of them need to be competing on a high level, not with each other, but just compete with a high level. Set your goal high and just keep setting it higher. Eventually, you might tire WWE. It's going to take a while. You're not going to be able to be WWE. So stop trying. Be the best you that you can be. Slimline your TV broadcast, Tony. Slimline it. All we need is Dynamite, and all we need is Collision. So everything will be good in the world, because it's like we're getting wrestling almost every day from multiple brands, and we can get our daily fix of wrestling content, or wrestling matches and wrestling stories. Keep it at that, and make your wrestlers wrestle. Once you put them out there, put them to work. Look how fast you got a Kuchikata, I can't even say his name. You got him out in the ring wrestling. Why Mercedes haven't wrestled yet? Stop doing that. Don't let her do that. If she's still injured and need to be cleared, tell the truth about that, man. And stop trying to be the only man to run the company. Delegate your authority. Get your staff together and get your team on the field together. Get your management team and get them and delegate authority. If somebody start going against your wishes and will, you fine them. And after so many times fine them, you suspend them. And the more they're suspended, the more you extend their contract. Because that's what Vince did. Get a hold of your people. Don't let these people run over you and be the boss of you. Well, what am I supposed to do? Fine them and suspend them and add more days on the contract with every suspension. I bet you they'll come back again, thinking different. That's what the normal jobs do. So we folks don't I mean, I hear people like, Jim Cornette. I love Jim Cornette, but Jim ain't no real big fans. I think he's trying to give Tony some advice, but just some people don't like the fact that AEW is trying to compete with the WWE, and I'm trying to say AEW don't compete. Be the best AEW you can be, and let WWE be the best they can be. You're not going to be on that level. It took a while for them to get there. They had to build a system, and now with what's going on with Vince McMahon allegations, stuff like that, and the company has bought them. They have to develop a better system than that. You're not going to be on that level, but there's a level you can be on. Don't look over here. That's what the Lord told me in my heart when me and my wife got divorced. Don't be looking in that house. You're not even in the house, and you're still trying to figure out what's going on in the house. It's going to make you miserable. Look at your own house. Build your own. Let the woman be her. Stop worrying about what's going on over there. Whatever's going on there, ain't nothing you can do about it. You can just focus on over here. And look, it set me free. It set me free. It's like, I could care less what's going on over your house. I'm over here having me the time of my life, Doc. And that's what you need to be doing. Focus on your own house. Have the time of your life. Pay your wrestlers well. Give them a good time. Give them good matches. But make sure you give them the most important thing of all, stories. Because without those strong, long-term story, long-term booking, the product gonna fail.